Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power BI quiz show, where we have a quiz today around composite models. And today I have Alberto as the guest. Hello, Alberto.
Yeah! Hi, everybody. I'm Alberto Ferrari. I work with Marco Russo at SQL BI. We do all things about DAX. We specialize in the last few years on tabular and mainly the DAX language. That was love at first sight. Not really at first sight, let's say at second sight, because at the beginning I hated DAX. I thought it was totally useless. But when I started using it, whoa, that was incredibly cool. And since then, I basically spend all my time working with DAX and playing with DAX and doing DAX stuff. And today we'll test you. So we will test, everybody in some question about composite models.
Exactly. And we will test you around the new composite models, right?
Of course. Actually, it's not composite models. The current name, I cannot even remember the current name. Direct Query Over Analysis Services, in case you don't like SQL and you want to do. Composite models. That's so much easier.
Yeah. Or my favorite, that's proxy models. So.
Yeah, we are gonna fight about that, and I'm a strong fighter when it comes to names. I can. There are a few things that I really fight. One is names. Choosing the right name is going to be a real problem, and formatting code. You have no idea how much time we spent, me and Marco, discussing whether should we put a space between the open parentheses or function or not. It can be a discussion that lasts for days. Anyway, composite models, they come out lately. That's a brand new feature, still not really generally available, but it's there. So I guess everybody here already tested them and play with them and started learning them. We'll see that.
That's what we will test today. How much, and it come out in the release in December, and there was some updates actually coming out yesterday in the February release.
Yesterday, yeah.
We won't test you in these changes that come out yesterday. So if you just have been playing with the December release.
Even because right now the changes is that just a few things are starting to work. That the initial release was, really a pre-alpha test. It was crashing every now and then. The February release, I'm working with it since a couple of weeks, I guess, and it's working pretty well. It starts to be a bit better.
And the feature will mature over time, and we will see when it will go GA.
Yeah.
So this was the introduction. Let's get going with the with the prices actually. So last week we had a prize that was a raffle prize, a ticket or a voucher to join the Power BI Summit. So the Power BI Summit is this virtual conference that is in April, where there are a whole lot of great speakers. I believe you also have a session, Alberto.
No, not me, but I can see Marco there.
Marco is there.
No, I will not present at the Power BI. Marco will be there.
There's a lot of sessions, and it's global, so it's on different time zones. I don't believe the schedule is out yet, but it will come out in a couple of days or maybe a week. But that was the raffle prize for last week. So, Alberto, will you help me pick the winner from that raffle? Here we see a list of all the attendees, and as you can see, Nexus Aka Ricardo from Spain won. That's actually the fourth time in a row Ricardo have won this quiz. So this is pretty amazing, not done any time before, and probably won't be done any time in the future. Let's see if he can win 5 times in a row. but that's was 34 participants here. So thank you for all that participated last quiz 2 weeks ago. It was the quiz with Lucas around the Teams integration, how we can put Power BI in Teams and the other way around. Also a really nice topic. But I have assigned every attendee with a random index number. So Alberto, will you help me pick a number?
Any number is fine. So I'll go for 26.
26. Let's see who the lucky one behind this one is. And it is this Wilfred Ruben. I believe that is a Twitter handle. And if you know him, please have him contact me. If you're part of the quiz today, that's fine. Write in the chat. But congratulations to you, Wilfred. You won a ticket for the Power BI Summit. So for this, the prices for this week, we have actually for the winner the $100 gift card to Lego.com, and then the raffle prize that will draw in 2 weeks is a voucher donated by you, Alberto, for SQL BI. So thank you very much for that. And if we should have a look at what that is, we can see here that is on SQL hopefully everyone is familiar with SQLBI.com, but here you can attend a lot of free courses, but also some paid ones. So you will get $99 to use for, you can of course also use it for classroom courses if you want.
Yeah. When we will be able to do them again.
But yeah, you can use it for these video courses. And I believe it is the Power BI dashboard design video course that is actually $99. So that one.
Yeah, that is exactly $99. That was a beautiful course.
Yeah.
Because I made that training and I have no idea how to build a dashboard. So I basically was an actor there with Daniele telling me, you need to save this, you need to save that. And I was like, yeah, you need to do that this way.
I have actually bought that course and I can recommend it highly.
Yeah, at the end it came out nicely. I agree.
Yeah, so here you can, if you win the raffle prize in 2 weeks. So that was the prizes. And then we have the Lego prize oh, I see I have forgot to share my screen. Yeah, I didn't show the screen, but here you have the video courses on SQLBI.com. So yeah, where you can go in and buy a course. Okay. And then for the Kahoot, now we are getting close to that. You will see the questions here on your monitor on this YouTube stream, and then you will answer the questions on a secondary device, maybe your mobile phone or secondary screen, and then you will put in a PIN code that we will show to you shortly. Then you will put in a nickname. Please use a full name or Twitter handle, so in case you win the raffle prize, we can track you down, and also so you can get your name on this scoreboard. And also please be aware that there's a 3 to 5 seconds delay. That means that you will actually see the answer possibilities before you see the questions. And if you have 30 seconds to answer questions, you will probably need to answer in 25 seconds to be sure to not come late with your answer. And we will start with one question that's not awarded any points, just to get all started. And then we have these 10 real questions around composite models that Alberto have made for us that you will get points for. And the faster you answer, the more points you win. And all results are posted publicly in a Power BI report on powerbiquiz.com, where you can find that. So let's go in and start up here the quiz. So the game pen is loading, and here you have it. Let us see who will join. And we have a couple of people joining in. And more. Let's see how many will be this week.
There's actually a bunch of people.
yeah, I can see some new names. So yeah, welcome to you all, and also some familiar faces. I can see Benny has joined, and I know Benny is currently doing a Q&A on another session, so that's really good done from him. He's helping with the Q&A session. So nearly 30 people here on the quiz on composite models. And let us see if we can get a couple of more joining in, or we will also just start, and then you can always join later on, because the pin is shown at the top and there's not awarded any points for this first one, so we can get it started. So for the first one, that is a poll with no questions awarded. We would like to have your opinion, because yeah, the official title is Direct Query for Power BI Datasets and Analysis Services. But what is a better title if you should choose?
Direct Query for Power BI Dataset and Azure Analysis Services. I mean, you get bored just by reading it.
So
should we stay silent while they choose, or we can disturb it?
We can, and it's actually pretty even. And yeah, my favorite is proxy models, and it's only getting 3. So,
but composite model wins.
Yeah, composite model wins. So we also had a discussion on this earlier, and actually Alberto's favorite is just composite models plain, and then we should rename the old.
Yeah, I would say that we can forget about composite model over SQL. I mean, are they even a thing? Is there anybody using them for real, apart from demos about clicky, draggy, droppy? But in the real world, composite models over SQL, they are not so useful in my opinion. Whereas composite models over analysis services, that's gonna be really powerful.
It could be fun to see the telemetry behind how many people are actually using the version 1, because Microsoft will know that.
Yeah, I guess Microsoft will know, but I don't even think that they are gonna disclose this kind of information.
No.
And that makes sense. But I've never been a big fan of direct query at all.
No.
Because I mean, it's slow, and we don't like slow engines.
But composite models version 2 is also direct query, just faster, because it's over Power BI datasets and Azure.
Because it's analysis services. I mean, you have storage engine, which is analysis services. That's gonna be super cool and a bit of challenging, but
yeah, because it's a whole new feature. But so not in the scoreboard here, but let's start with the first real question that is awarded points. So when was composite models first introduced as a preview feature in Power BI Desktop? And this is a little tricky question, because as we said before, composite models has been around for some time, but for how long have we had it? So
they are super fast in answering. So that means they are not Googling, they are really answering out of their head.
Yeah, and sometimes we end the quiz with only a couple of points in between number 1 and 2. But it was a tricky question. A lot of you answered December 2020, and that was composite models in version 2
or analysis.
And direct query, blah, blah, blah. So initially, composite models over SQL, as you will call it, Alberto, that was introduced in July 2018. So this is actually a feature that's been around for quite some time.
1.5 years.
So you have been able to play with it for a long time, and a lot of the limitations are still the same. And some of the things you can read in the initial blog post and articles is still true. But now, for the rest of the quiz, it will only be around the new composite models. So this was a little tricky one to start with.
Now they are warmed up. We can let's look at the next question.
Let's see, and
we
have Nexus. That's Ricardo that won the last 4 quizzes. He's already on top. I don't know how he do it, but let's see if he can stay there. So, next question. True or false? Using composite models adds additional performance considerations. Is that true or false?
Nexus already answered. I know that.
But did he answer correct?
So we can make a bet. 4 people said no. Who are you? I mean, of course, it's gonna be a total nightmare performance-wise, because a lot of people actually do not care too much about performance with the Power BI, because Power BI is so fast by default without doing anything at all that you don't have to worry about performance. If you have a few million rows, it's just fast. You don't need to do anything at all. And you worry about performance when you have a very large model. There you need to attend training, to study, to spend time, go crazy understanding all the details about the Vertipack engine. So optimization was something very specialistic for a few developers, not for everybody. With composite models, things are going to be, they're going to change drastically, because even on the small models, the model need not be very large. Even on small models, you can hit huge performance issues if you do not pay attention to details, which are basically the sides of the relationship that get moved back and forth between the 2 engines. And it doesn't matter whether the 2 engines are on the same machine or on completely different machines. I tested it on composite models on my computer or on the web. The difference is tiny. That means you can use the cloud safely without any problem if you write the queries and the measures the right way. And what really matters is that we need, by we, I really mean we. I don't know right now how to optimize correctly for composite models. We need to understand how to write a DAX code that minimizes the transfers of data between the 2 engines. And this is going to be challenging. I'm just now practicing on the DAX patterns that we wrote. The patterns work beautifully if they work on a single machine, but as soon as you try to push them over composite models, then you start to be in trouble. And optimizing that code is gonna be hard. So the suggestion that I always give to everybody is roll up your sleeves now, because you want to know that long before you go in production with a real composite model. You want to quickly recognize where the problem might be, just to avoid it later.
Yeah, I believe you will have a lot of work incorporating in all your code that you have on SQL BI examples and the patterns and stuff.
Yeah, but again, before that, we need to learn. And right now we do not have experience, because because it takes a lot of time. We really need to take the entire code base we have and test it against composite models to check whether we can build them as composite models. Sometimes we have limitations, so we cannot build some patterns. But even if we can, then we need to check performance.
So it has performance considerations. So let's see the leaderboard. And we still have Nexus on top.
Yeah, but Palma is getting closer.
Yeah. Mons and AF5H and Fran. So let's have the third questions. Again, true or false? Role level security defined in a composite model will be applied to remote sources. Is that true or false? And you only have 20 seconds to this.
Now the answers are coming a bit slower. That means people are thinking about it. It's still true or false, but That's a, how to say that in English? It's a even, yeah. 14, 15. But at least the majority say the correct answer, 15. But it's very close. It looks like an American election.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And
Actually, no. The red answer is the correct one. Row level security will not flow through a different island, meaning that if you place a security on your local model, that you are not securing the remote model. The security filter will not flow to the remote model. And that is super important because you might not see the data because maybe you place the security filter on a dimension, and as long as the dimension is part of the report, you will have the feeling that everything is working, that actually you're only looking at the data which are you are allowed to see, but that is not true. It's enough to open DAX Studio or just avoid using the dimension that is being secured in the local model to have access to the entire remote model. And this is true today, and it's likely to be true also tomorrow. So speaking about security, you need to pay attention to that. Security is super important because nowadays we push all of our data set on the web. So the cloud knows everything, and we need the data to be kind of secured. I know this is going to be a big problem for everybody,
yeah,
because we need to pay attention to that.
yeah. And
Besides security, I don't know what you think about security. I find it the most boring topic of any model. When it comes to security, I say, no, I don't want to talk about security.
yeah, that's right. It is pretty boring. But also some people find it very important. So
Yeah, I mean, it is important. I totally agree. If only people were polite. I mean, I just tell you not to look at data that is not pertinent to you, and just don't do that. Life would be so simple.
yeah, that's also why. Are you really sure that you have to define this security, or is it only because it's convenient? Because if it's only for convenience, then please don't. But yeah. Let's see if we have Ricardo on top still. Yeah, we have, but
He is still on top and is gaining some space.
yeah. So I can from this I can see three people have, or two people have answered correct, all correct until now. Because there's
How do you read the second? It's AY5H or H?
yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah, I don't know it either.
maybe it's
Okay,
it
anyway.
could be a Twitter handle. I don't know, but yeah, congratulations on being second here, and Benny has climbed up on a third place. And he wrote in the chat that his Q&A was finished now, so he have full attention to this quiz. Let's see the next question. Yeah, Aisha. It is written in the chat now, so it is Aisha.
Aisha.
So congratulations to you, Aisha Hamishi, for being on a second place. Let's take the next one. This is a quiz with multi-select. So what are the data sources you cannot include in a composite model? You have 60 seconds to this one, so read them carefully. And with a multi-select, you can have 1, 2, 3, or all 4 of them correctly. You don't know. So
yeah, they are following advices. You see, answers are coming in slower. I'm pretty sure we already have Ricardo's answer. Yeah. I need to meet that guy. If he's able to win 5 times in a row, that's just amazing.
Yeah, that's totally. Before he won 4 quizzes in a row, we had a couple of people just won 2 apart. So it was already an achievement when he won 2 in a row, and now he won 4 in a row. So
yeah, but there's Aisha that is pushing from behind, and
so
I'm really curious.
This one was a trick.
That was
a trick question.
But it was good. I mean, 22 people answered correctly. Now, that 22 is that meaning that 22 answered only SQL
No,
Server
no, no,
Analysis
no.
Service.
It is you really you can't draw any conclusions from this one because yeah, that just means that 22 have answered SQL Server Analysis Service, but they could also be part of the 11 or 4, 5 or 11. So maybe only
So
we don't know. Maybe
John,
no one answered just that one correctly.
Yeah, because actually, in a composite model, you can mix data from SQL Server databases, any SQL Server database that you can use with the old composite models work just fine. Power BI datasets, of course, Azure Analysis Services, because it's always aligned with the same version of Power BI. So whatever you can do with Power BI dataset, you can do also with Azure Analysis Services. SQL Server Analysis Services, the box version of Analysis Services is still with, it is not yet completely up to date, and we have no idea if and when it will receive the update. So as of today, you cannot build a new composite model on top of Analysis Services on-prem. Microsoft is pushing everybody to go on the cloud, and I guess that they are succeeding in doing that. To be honest, when all this cloud stuff started many years ago, and everybody was saying one day everything will be on the cloud, I was saying, no way, my data will never go on the cloud. I still had all my data on my PC and never used the cloud services. Nowadays, all of my data is in the cloud. I don't have anything at all at home. It feels just right. So this is where we are heading, and that's the right way.
And we actually have a comment, a couple of comments in the chat around that we should have rephrased this question. What are the data sources you cannot include in a direct query in a composite model? Because you can actually import data from SQL Server Analysis Services and have it part of a composite model that way.
That's kind of right. That's right. I mean, we cheated at the beginning with the term composite models, and now that is firing back at us because it's correct.
But then there won't be any of these answers that will be correct if that was the case. So yeah.
So keep in mind, for everybody from now on, to us, composite models means the new composite model using direct query over analysis services.
Yeah. So and you cannot select nothing and then submit. So yeah. So but let us see if there was anyone that only selected SQL Server Analysis Services. And yeah. We had Nexus right on that one, and also Aisha, and now we have Don Svensson and P. Palmer and John Malone also climbing up on the scoreboard, top 5. But it is still very, very close here, and we are only at the 4th question. So let's have the 5th one.
5th.
So here you get double points because we are halfway to the quiz. So can you summarize a remote table by a local column provided that there's a suitable relationships? You only have 30 seconds to answer this one.
That seems simple. I mean, they should answer correctly.
Let's see.
But they are coming in slowly, meaning that they're thinking about that. Maybe they think that there is some kind of trap in the question. I don't know.
And we have 29 answers, and here is the time. So,
of course. 2 said, of course not. 14, it depends on the direction of the relationship, and 3 depends on the cross-filter direction. So definitely it was not an easy question. Because the correct answer is, of course, not. The reason is when you build a relationship between a remote table and a local table, So you have a remote table, you have a local table, they are linked through a relationship, but that relationship, the one linking the two tables, is now they call them a limited relationship. I prefer to call them weak relationships. To me, it's much easier as a name. A weak relationship is a relationship that links a data that sits in two different islands. So you have an island which is the require analysis services, another island which is Vertipack. If you can build a relationship between these two tables, but you end up with a weak relationship. Weak relationship do not trigger table expansion. And summarize lets you summarize only by columns that belong to the expanded version of the table you are summarizing. So if you build a relationship between two tables which are both remote, then you can summarize because there the table expansion happens, provided that table expansion works in the remote model. That you don't know. You just hope that that is the case. If you have two tables in the local model, again, summarize works just fine. But if the two tables belong to two different islands, then summarize simply does not work. You cannot use it. And that's the reason why you need to use summarize columns and handle all the problems that come with weak or limited relationship, as they prefer to call them right now.
Yeah.
So the correct answer was, of course, not. And it was actually the one that nobody chose. Only two people chose.
Two people. So let's see if that changes that we got Fran Muller on the scoreboard. So now Nexus answered, or Ricardo answered the first one incorrectly until now. But
how do you know that? How do you know whether they choose the correct one or not from here?
Because they have the same amount of points as before.
Oh, you remember that the amount of the...
Yeah, but I saw that there was this little arrow, so that was shifted up and the other ones stayed. And there were only two that could have a correct answer.
Okay.
So let's see. Next one. How many chained composite model is supported? So how many is supported? That's not how many should you use, but how many is supported. You have 30 seconds to this one, so there should be plenty of
That's an easy one. They only need to pick a number. And here we go. 3, cool. 4 said 2, 5 went to 4, 7 went for infinite. Actually, theoretically, you could support infinite connections, but that's gonna... Right now, it is limited artificially to 3. So there's no practical or technical reason to limit it to 3, apart the fact that you might have performance issues with the two models. With 3, you are already in a really dangerous area. And if you go to 5, 4, or 10, or 20 chaining, that's the perfect recipe for for failure. It will never work correctly. So what I think is that 2 is the right number. You have one corporate model and some satellite models around it that can add small functionalities to the system, but chaining more than 2, I don't know. To me, it looks just wrong. I don't see a reason to do that.
No.
But I know people will do that. I'm pretty sure that right now there is somebody in a meeting room that is thinking about designing his entire Power BI architecture based on composite model with a lot of chains. I mean, good luck. Never work, but...
Yeah, so 3 is the one that is supported right now, and hopefully also they won't change that, so people won't do more damage than good is.
Yeah.
So let's see the leaderboard now, and it only changed slightly. So we had Depache, Johnny and Depache, I believe, was second last week, and then also Amadeo coming from Italy joining the scoreboards.
Oh, Amadeo.
So let's have the next one. This is a multi-select.
How did Marco Russo code the composite model? That's a simple one. I mean, you can try to answer whatever.
And there can be 1, 2,
Give
3,
them
4.
60 seconds for
Yeah,
that.
but that's a lot of text to read, so.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But yeah, and a lot of time, actually 45 seconds is the sweet spot, but I can only select either 30 or 60, so. And we have nearly everybody answering in 30 seconds, but you have 30 seconds more. So the last couple of people can still answer this one.
I'm very curious to see the results.
Yeah, yeah.
Even because, to be honest, I wouldn't know the answer. Unless I created the question, I have no idea. But I'm a big fan of the fourth, the final step towards the Dataverse. What do you think about Dataverse?
Oh, that's an awful name.
I totally agree. So what we have? The ultimate feature of semantic model, the holy grail of business intelligence. They've got the top answer. But the holy grail of business intelligence, that means a lot of people read Marco's blog. I don't remember if you wrote it in a blog post or just in a tweet.
Yeah, I believe it's in a blog post, yeah.
The definitive solution for business users? No, of course, this was a joke about the definite guide to DAX. It's not that everything we say is always the definite something. The final step towards the Dataverse karma. I mean, I cannot even speak about the Dataverse. It's such a silly name. It doesn't mean anything. The Dataverse of big data looks like just the union of some buzzwords to end up a business meeting saying we are doing something really cool. So sign-ups working on the Dataverse on big data, and nobody understands what you're talking about. So you feel very smart by doing that.
So yeah, a couple of people are writing. It was both in a tweet and also in a video that Marco said these things. So the ultimate feature of semantic model and the holy grail of business intelligence.
Yep.
Yeah, and I believe you were also quoted in the official blog post when they released it. You also had a...
Yeah, I talked about that, I remember. But I don't remember if I called it... what did I say?
That was a quote, yeah.
Oh, I call it the historical. No, I need to say it to do it right. That's a historical milestone. That was the tone that I wanted to make it so important. Now, to me, this is, I mean, I started dreaming about composite models, I think 2 days after having seen the first Power Pivot, because it comes as naturally. You say, I build the corporate data model and I extend it with my own model. We had to wait for 12 years before they have been able to author the code. But I think this only gives people an idea of how complex that implementation was. I don't know. A lot of youngsters today, they actually do not understand the details of how complex writing software is. And it really took them this amount of time. I mean, they didn't write code for 12 years, but the experience and the technology and the small changes in a lot of different places in the engine that were required to reach this point, that actually took a lot of years.
Oh, yeah. And now we are finally there. So, and we can start.
Yeah, we can really start using it. And to me, I think this is going to kill the competition. I mean, when we published the video, many people said, oh, but whatever other tool had this feature years ago. I honestly don't think it's true. I don't think that any analytical service today has the same feature as composite models.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah, so should we see the leaderboard and see? And we still have Nexus on top. Aisha is also there,
Yep.
Pashi and Tony Lance and Fran. It's only a couple of 600 points, so there's a lot of points still in the quiz. So let's have the next one.
That's the next one.
True or false? Can you create a relationship between a direct query SQL table and a direct query analysis services one? So is this true or false?
Actually, we asked whether you can create the relationship. We could have asked is it expected to work then?
Yeah.
There are the answers. What do we have more than, I mean, sometimes we have less than 30 answers.
Yeah.
That people either.
Yeah, I think actually it's grown a little.
Okay, 21 said yes, which is correct. You can. That's the whole purpose of composite model, is to be able to build the relationships between local tables, no matter where they are. They can be not only local, but also direct query over another island. So you can have SQL data, you can have analysis services data, you can have your local vertical continent data and build relationship all the way. They mostly work. There are limitations. You cannot build any kind of relationship hoping that it works. But I mean, for simple usages, it just works. The limitations are rather technical. You cannot make a table, a remote table, being filtered by a local table, which in turn is filtered by another remote table. So you cannot jump multiple times between local and remote and build really complex scenarios. But that's not something that happens all the time. So if you just stick with the regular usage of composite models, that is add the small tables to the corporate data model, that just works fine.
Yeah. And Donald Paris is asking if the quiz is a little ahead of video, and yeah, the quiz is around 3 to 5 seconds ahead of the video. That's unfortunately how YouTube is. You cannot get the latency lower than these 3 seconds.
Yeah, so actually the reality is that we are behind the quiz. Yeah. So the quiz is real time and we are 2-3 seconds later.
Yeah. That's how it works. So we have 2 questions left. So let's see the leaderboard. And we still have Ricardo on top.
Ricardo is gaining more space. Yeah. So it's close to being right now.
That's impressive. Last week he actually only climbed top at the 10th at the last question, but he had leaded a little before. But actually, Depashi, that is currently number 3, was ahead of him onto the last question. But now Depashi has.
Still, we have Aisha there, and Aisha is still fighting fiercely.
Absolutely. So we have 2 questions left. So. Calculated column on a remote table. Which engine computes it?
That's interesting.
You have 30 seconds to this one. 20 seconds to go.
So you have a remote table. You build a calculated table from the local model. Where is this column? Is it stored, computed? That gives a glimpse of the complexity of the implementation they had to do. That's very sparse as answer. Local, remote, depends on the code, both local and remote. Actually, it's pushed down to the remote server. And you can actually check that. If you build a calculation that cannot be pushed to the remote server, you will get an error. You cannot compute any kind of calculated column. That's a limitation. It's not that strong, to be honest, because most of the kind of calculated column that you need to build, that they work on the remote model because you will need them for clustering or for strength calculation.
Yeah.
But yeah, the calculation need to be pushable to the remote server. It depends on the code. No, the engine is not that smart in doing that. That is for measures. Measures can be computed on the local machine, on the remote machine, or also a combination of the two. You can have part of the calculation happening on the remote one, part happening on the local one, and then merge together by the formula engine. But that is only for measures. Columns have a limitation, which is not that strong. So I think you can easily live with that.
Absolutely. So let's see the leaderboard before the last question. And we still have Amadeo, but yeah, we only have one.
So this time, both Nexus and Aisha, they answered wrong. So they Aisha didn't take the chance of getting closer.
No, but we have still top 5 is in for 1,000 points, and for the last we have double points, so there are totally 2,000 points to for if you answer really quickly and correct one. So all on this scoreboard can still win the quiz, but only if Nexus or Aisha or Nexus is answering wrong, because yeah, it's not a matter of how quick you answer the last one, I believe. There's so many points between. So let's have the next one. Let's see the last one here. Double points.
That's the last double points. Oh, that's gonna be hard.
So you have 30 seconds to
this. And you only gave them 30 seconds for this.
Can you create a calculated column on a remote table that sums values from a local table? Yes, no problem. No way. Only if it does not use calculate. Only if there's no relationship between the tables. And you have 8 seconds left. 5, 4, and we have.
That was hard. I mean, that was really, really hard. Let's see. 13 said no way. 2 said only if it does not use calculator. 10 yes, no problem. And only 5 people gave the correct answer. Now, this was actually really tricky, because we say that calculated columns can need to be computed on the remote machine. So you cannot use values if they are coming from the local machine, the local model, of course. The engine is kind of smart, and if there are no relationships between the calculated column, between the remote table and the local one, then you can actually compute the calculated column, because it does not require to traverse a relationship. It becomes constant value, and then you can easily compute. You can make the calculation, because you don't need to perform the calculation on the remote machine. It becomes a constant value computed locally and then pushed back to the remote server.
Yeah, so you're actually cheating the engine that way.
Yeah, that was really hard.
So
I mean, I would probably have made it wrong if I didn't write the question. So it's totally fine that most people made it wrong.
So let's see. We have only 5
the
ones.
Final
so let's see the final podium. So on a 3rd place with 6 out of 10, we have Asia. So congratulations for you.
Oh, Asia win.
And
3rd.
And who is the winner with 6 out of 10 correct? Could
it
be
know that
next
Ricardo
from Spain. So congratulations. And thank you for being part of the quiz. And yeah, I'm totally stunned once again. Can win 5 quizzes in a row. I believe have you a Trojan horse on my machine, or how can you do that? Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, Thank you, Alberto, for taking the time and making the quiz and being part of the show. It was.
Thanks to you. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And if you made the wrong answer, just go back, study more, test it, because the more you know, the more you will enjoy composite models as soon as they will become GA.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, thank you for being here, and see you hopefully soon again. And before we end, actually, in 2 weeks we have the next quiz, and there we have Quiz Finland as the guest, and it is on a topic that I can't reveal yet. Actually, he hasn't told me yet, but that's because it's part of an announcement that is made on Ignite next week. And Quiz has teased a little on Twitter that there will be a big announcement next week on the Ignite online conference that is free for everyone to join. And then, a week after, we will have a quiz, and we will learn what that new feature is. I have a pretty strong idea, and probably a lot of people have also. What could it be that they will announce that Quiz is so in love with that they will be announcing next week? So but that's in 2 weeks we have that quiz. So
perfect. Thank you, everybody. Take care and enjoy DAX.